As presiding judge over this administrative court of commissioners, let's go ahead and call this meeting of the Tidal County Commissioners Court to order. Let the record reflect this meeting has been duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. And Madam Clerk? Don Ace?
You held her up too long.
Have to make copies for them.
Okay, thank you.
We haven't,
can
we have
you-
not had any, just sign up for public comments.
Okay, but we want to find out for the record, has this meeting been duly posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, and we will acknowledge that the full complement of the court is present. And with that being said, it is the practice of this court to exercise an invocation followed by a pledge of allegiance. It is shared among the commissioners. Today, Commissioner Stirk will offer that opportunity. If there's anybody who is present in the courtroom or those who are viewing who do not wish to participate in this practice, we invite you to either mute your line or possibly step out and then rejoin us once the invocation is completed, or once the Pledge of Allegiance has been completed. Commissioner?
Okay, let's pray. Lord, we want to thank you for this day and all the people gathered here and all the ones that are watching on the video. Please be with us in our decisions that we make and our words and our actions. May we be pleasing to you. Follow thy will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Which flag, Commissioner?
Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay. If you have copies of the agenda, feel welcome to follow along with us. We want to confirm that there was no one who had signed up for public comments. I believe that's what was the hearing in the court. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that moves us right on into the consent portion of the agenda. Gentlemen, you have copies that's been provided for you for those standing items of monthly report that come before this court each month. Is there a request to set any aside for consideration? And if there is not, then is there a motion to receive those monthly reports by consensus?
I'll make a motion to receive the report.
Monthly reports is seconded, Commissioner Hudson. All in favor of receiving the monthly reports indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And it is unanimous. That takes us to resolutions and proclamations. I'm not aware of any, and there are none that have been presented to the court. With that, we'll move to Roman numeral 4, and that's the consider, approve, and informational portion of today's agenda. Do we have any budget amendment or line item transfers for action today?
Yes, we do. These are for the 2020 audit. I did not make a copy, but if you want to pass that on.
We probably need to get copies, so each of the court members will have one.
I think we had some, but I had to add more.
Gentlemen, while we are awaiting that, let's see. Commissioner Marshall, are you aware of any accounts payable or county bills that are needing to be action items?
I'll make a motion we pay county bills.
So we do have them on this particular agenda.
So I don't know if there any, I don't know if there is.
Anyone know? Let's wait until we have a representative from the auditor's office. I'll come back next.
It's normally on our regular.
So this is not a standing.
It's not a regular.
It's just a regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a regular.
It's not the second Monday. Regular.
Feels like a Monday.
So we didn't have any county bills on there. Did we have any county bills?
I don't think so. That's gonna be on next commissioner's.
Okay.
It is a standing item that we keep on the agenda in the event that there is action that you wish to take. Gentlemen, let's take just a moment to look down through here. And it appears as if this is a cleaning up. It appears as if this is a cleaning up of the 2020 budget.
Yes, sir.
Is that based upon the recommendation of the outside auditor?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So those are the items you can see, the 4 R&B accounts and the 1, 2, 3, 5 general fund accounts. Treasurer, DPS, courthouse restoration, transfers out. Megan, would you elaborate a little bit more on the transfers out, that 200 and, looks like 113,937. Can you elaborate on that, please?
I'm not sure. I know that a lot of, we transfer out to Road and Bridge, and we have some other transfers, but I don't specifically know which one this one is.
Okay, that's the cumulative total of all the transfer outs. Is that correct?
I believe so. yes.
113,937. Thank you. Gentlemen, are there questions regarding any of the items on the budget amendment? We do have a motion with a second for that particular action item. Hearing none, all in favor, budget amendment line item transfers presented to the court for the adjusted entries for the 2020 budget amendment, say aye. And it is unanimous. We do not have any county payables or county bills to take action on based upon what we've heard of Commissioner Marshall. So we'll move to item C, and that's the acceptance of the annual financial report presented by Bill Harrison Pahachik, and Commissioner Hudson has that for the court.
Can we table that? It's not ready yet.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll need a
Table it
motion
for
to
next
table.
meeting?
Motion.
Motion to table.
And is there a second? Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion is tabled. And Donice and I had a conversation a little bit earlier. We think that it might be healthy for us to add a section by Roman numeral of our tabled items. That way it would give us the parliamentary capacity to be able to bring from the table by motion with a second items that we may be looking for that may have just been believed that they'll eventually come up. But that way it'll be a running account for us. Okay, so item C is tabled, and that takes us to item D, and that's the appointment of elected judges and clerks to fill the vacancies. Commissioner Marshall.
Yes. Donnie, do we have any?
No, sir, we're still looking. I mean, I'm going through lists of people that voted, because we need some Democrat ones and we need a few Republican ones. And so I've just been going through lists. And
Can we wait on?
I got word this morning that Fairview, their Democratic chairman is not going to be able to work. So that's added to our list.
So is there, how many are you needing in total?
Oh,
It's a fair
we need precinct 2, both Democrat and Republican.
That's which box?
Masonic Lodge.
Sorry, Lodge, yes.
Okay, so 4, we're going to need a Republican judge for that one. So we found out at our last election school that they no longer want people that work early vote to also work on election day. So some are choosing to work early vote, and then we've had a couple that's gonna, no, I'll work election day. So that's added to the list that we already have. Originally, we just needed, I think, 2 and 1 and 14, I think. And we've got several.
Okay, our auditor has joined us, so we will move forward then. Is it the pleasure of the court to table this as well so that we'll bring it back up?
Yes, sir, I think that'd be best.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion with second to table item D, and that's the appointment of elected judges and clerks to fill the vacancy. All in favor, aye? Any opposed? And your motion carries unanimously. Item E is the setting of the salaries and allowances for all elected county and precinct officers for, it says officers, officials?
You know, that's the way it is in the code, so I
Is
just copied
officers?
it out of the code.
Okay. But I think it's referencing elected officials on a precinct level as well as on a county level. Sheriff and I were talking about his officers, and we just wanted to be sure that we
I
We
just
understood the
copied it
distinction.
out how it was worded in the government code, local government code.
And that's referencing what was published in the paper, which you've been provided a copy of that. That's for the 2022 budget. We can go ahead and take a motion in a second and enter into any discussion if it's the pleasure of the court.
I'll make a motion, we set the salaries and allowances.
Okay, there is a motion,
Second.
there is a second. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye? And it is unanimous. Item F is the setting of the maximum number of election clerks for the constitutional amendment election and joint elections. Commissioner Marshall.
Do we have an idea of what?
Yes, sir, I'm going here. Okay, so, for the nutrition center, I'm recommending that 2 clerks, be appointed or allow 2 clerks. And this is not including the election judge, so that means there would be 3 people working that election. The Masonic Lodge, it would be 2. Hillister, which is voting precinct 3, 4, because they also have a school election and a City of Ivanhoe election, plus the constitutional amendment election. Then Bethel Baptist at Warren, 2, Doucette, 2, Wildwood, 2, Chester, 2, Bethany, 2, Ebenezer, 2, Comas Mill, 3, because they're having a City of Comas Mill election, a Comas Mill School District election, and a county election. Then Rockland, 2, Fairview, 2, Sparker, 2, Fred, 2, Warren High School, 2, Woodville Lions Den, 2, and then Woodville Fire Station, 4, because they're having city, school, and county.
Very good.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
As presented. All right, there's a motion with a second for the setting of the maximum number of election clerks for the constitutional amendment election in addition to the joint elections. Comments? My comment, Donnie, is thank you for doing this. I know it's your job, but it's comforting to us to know that you got this thing under control.
And we also figure into that how many people have to vote, what the voter turnout's gonna be.
All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Item G, in-person or virtual DEPCOG meeting for the month of September. Commissioner Hudson,
Yes,
any
sir.
recommendation for the board?
I actually spoke with Mr. Hunt this morning, and he said that he was okay with whatever decision we come up with. He just would like to have some kind of feedback today, because he said he's getting married or something.
Saturday
Saturday.
on the beach in Galveston.
And then going on a honeymoon, and he said he won't be back until the Monday of that week of the meeting. And he said he was perfectly fine with either one, whatever we came up with, that was fine, just let his secretary know.
Okay.
So,
I think it would be helpful for us to defer to our hospital administrator who's with us and give us an understanding of the local impact of this Delta variant and the reality of what we're experiencing in this county. We do have a significant elevated number. If you've been following emergency management Facebook page, once a week, emergency management coordinator's been posting what the state health services department is sending to us. And as we move forward with this decision, doing so in a prudent manner would be helpful. Sandra, would you share with us that
Yes,
perspective?
I see a decrease in the numbers in the last 2 or 3 days, but I'm also very cautious that this may be a a false security that we may be plateauing because, no one worked for the state, through the weekend. So all of those positive results from our outlying clinics, the hospital, our clinic, those have not been accepted at the state level yet. So, of course, on our state dashboards, it looks like the number is going down. What we have to pay close attention to is what happens Thursday and Friday of this week. And I think that'll give you a much more accurate picture than what I'm looking at right now.
Thank you.
The number of patients coming into the hospital has not changed, and the number of clinic patients has not changed.
And thank you, Sandra. And I think that we acknowledge that this is an 11 county now monthly meeting. Maybe the question before us, commissioners, is with outside traffic coming in a concentrated format into a facility, we will have our officials and our employees possibly participating in, to what extent is it advisable at this time for us to maybe host an event of an in-person nature? And so I think that's probably the burden of responsibility and question before you.
And he said today that it didn't matter to him whatsoever whether we had the in-person meeting, or he said if we didn't do that, it'll just be a regular board meeting at the office. So, and he said they did do the meeting in Groveton last month, and he said it was very poorly attended and not enough room really for everybody to feel comfortable. He said there was a lot of people that stood in the back, and he said it was just not, people were not comfortable. So, anyway, I would say let them have a meeting at the office. My personal opinion.
Is there
I think that's probably the wise thing to do for this year. I mean, it's nothing pressing really that we have it. I mean, I know it'd be great to have it, but.
You still get business done whether we still wish to do, they still get their business.
Good point. Okay, so is that a second, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the motion is to defer to the monthly meeting historically sponsored in Tyler County in September as being a virtual and not an in-person meeting. It does accompany a second. With that being said, comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye. Any opposed? And it is unanimous. And Buck, if you don't mind just
I'll call
shooting
the secretary.
a message.
Have a-
I want to applaud the courage for us to do that. I think that Sandra brings an element of awareness by virtue of the fact that they are having to deal with sick people, and just trying to keep enough staff to provide for that has been something that she's communicated to me and to several of us that have concerns about just where we are. Emergency management believes that possibly the peak may not quite have possibly arrived yet, even though there may be a little bit of a plateau. But if you follow the numbers, they continue to go up. My counterparts in the Southeast Texas region are also experiencing that. So with all that being said, we'll move on to item H, and that's the approval of the payment to area surveying for surveying area of County Road 1700 for Kimball Creek Bridge repair, and Commissioner Blacksher
I
brings
put
that.
that in the form of a motion,
There's a motion,
Second.
and there is a second.
and I'd like to pay that out of the right-of-way fund. Because what it is I'm having a bridge replaced. The state's requiring more right-of-way. There's like 25 feet, and they're wanting 60. So we're gonna have to, Crown Pine wouldn't even talk to me unless I had a survey. So he told me to get a survey, so I got it done. I'd just like for that to be paid out of the right-of-way fund.
So,
Yes.
If you've got copies and you're looking at that, that's a $4,310 expense. Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. And it is unanimous. Who was it that seconded that motion, please?
Me and Stephen both, so
Okay.
Go second.
Item I is the set hearing date for the proposed 2022 budget for September 13th at 10 a.m. Commissioner Marshall.
I put that forward as a motion.
Okay, there is a motion. Is there a second?
Is this a public hearing? Is that what that's for?
Yes,
Okay. We'll have it on the agenda.
There's a public
it's
hearing.
at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we'll have the item on our agenda,
To
the
approve.
regular, to have that on the agenda.
To vote on the budget?
Yeah, the vote on the budget on the 13th, on the regular meeting at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
At 10 o'clock, we're gonna have the hearing on the budget, and then 11 o'clock, it's on there to adopt.
Oh,
And
the
then
public
the
hearing.
tax rates.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the vote on tax rate on 13.
Right. So this is the public hearing. that we'll have, right?
That was just something else I found in the code. The Commissioners Court had set the date for hearing, although we have already published it.
So we have both the motion and the second, is that correct?
Who made the second? I was talking.
Okay. So we have the motion and second for the setting of the hearing. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item J is a discussion and possible action to authorize myself to execute a professional services agreement, PSA, between Tyler County and Washburn and Company Land Surveyors to satisfy the residential survey requirements of HUD, funded through the CDBG Block Grant Relief Program, which is the Relief by Program. Commissioner Stirling.
Yes, I put what you said in form of a motion. Second.
Okay, there is motion with second. Comments or questions? Has legal counsel taken a look at these documents? That was something that caught my attention whenever I was reviewing for the meeting this morning. Does anyone know?
I don't know. That stuff came in. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time to put it on the agenda. Langford.
Okay.
Unless they viewed it with an attorney, we have not.
Okay. It may be helpful, appropriate, gentlemen, for us to just pass it before Eric. Sometimes he catches some things. I realize this may possibly be a standardized state document, but in the abundance of caution, I think it's prudent on behalf of the court to just confirm with our own set of legal eyes that everything is protecting the county to the fullest extent.
So do you want me to add to that motion upon review of
By legal
Eric
counsel.
Key? Counsel?
If that's the pleasure of the,
Yeah, I think the main thing is where we authorize you to sign it whenever it comes back from Eric, or whenever, that's our main thing. is
Okay.
To give you the authorization to sign it, which is what we're doing. We can add that to get it looked over with by our legal.
I would request that we have legal counsel to review both of this one and the next one as well, just to give us a confirmation of passing the board that says aye.
May I just add that if, when it's done, that if we need to call a special meeting to meet a deadline because the state's,
We're going out for bids. This is part of going out for bids that we're going to be opening on, I think, the 27th of this month.
Okay.
So, and so like, she's
so
already
it's
sent
gonna have
information
to
to the
be
paper.
approved before, or not approved before then. But I know that the state's been sending lots of, they've done desk reviews, they're saying that we're not, hasn't moved along as fast as they wanted it to. So I just want to make sure that y'all are okay with calling a special meeting if we need to, after Eric reviews it.
That would only be if it changed in any way, right? You think?
That would be my
Yeah.
thoughts, is if there is a recommendation by legal counsel for any of the wording to change. And it may be that Langford and Associates needs the opportunity for their counsel to also be in agreement. Okay. I think we know what we're gonna do. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Basically, the same exact type of document. This is for Tyler County Title to be the provider for the title commitments once these closures and transfers for HUD-funded CDBG block grant buyout programs have been consummated or have been brought to a legal resolution. It's formalized with the title transfers by the local title company.
That's the form of motion, what you said.
Second.
Is this also on review with legal counsel?
Yes. And it says discussion and possible action, so I think we need to verify that that's what we're doing, so authorizing you to make that call.
If there's changes, we'll just get on a special meeting
Okay.
and present the changes.
Commissioner, if this was your item, or did I understand you were deferring to me as?
Yes, I just happened to be, I walked in the
Okay.
office when it came through an email, it needed to get on
Okay.
pretty quick, so I just signed it, so
But
bring it in
But I
here.
guess what I'm asking is, based upon what I said, you're using that as a motion?
Yes, that's a short, yes, yes.
Just so that
Okay.
it can be captured in the minutes, okay? And then, Joe, I think you had the second, is that
That's
correct?
Yes, sir.
Comments or questions?
My understanding that as long as Eric doesn't have any issues with it, it's already, it's
It'll be
authorized
approved.
today for him to
Yeah,
sign.
Judge, yes.
Donnies, we will work together, just to be sure that we get this all resolved with Eric directly to his office and then back, and if there's any questions, then we can communicate to the court. Good? All right,
Are you gonna send it to Eric or?
you and I will get together afterwards.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions? All in favor, aye? Any opposed or abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Any comments by court members pertaining to matters of county government? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
There's a motion with second to adjourn. All in favor, aye? And it is unanimous. We will stand adjourned. How about that?
No, he loves that thing.